It is fun.
It is a lot of fun. And again, we did enjoy our visit with Bob and Sally, and we know that they're coming back, which is also going to be some fun. And, you know, as we're kind of laying in their track record, their game plan over the next couple of years, which is great. Again, our phone lines are open. We'd love to hear from you this morning. 969-KTRS, star KTRS for your cell phones, or 1-888-550-KTRS. You know, it's interesting because, Aaron, we did receive an email yesterday, about 1:30, from a lady. We'll call her Barb.
Okay.
One of my favorite names.
Grandma.
That's
Sweet Grandma's name.
That's Grandma's, my mother's name. And let me read this one, if I may.
I'll allow it.
Happy May to you and Aaron.
Happy May to you as well, Barb.
Thank you, Barb. I have a quick question for probably Aaron.
You got an email from me.
You know.
I like how you claim glory for the email that was going to me anyway. Anyway, please.
I'm so glad you drove today. Came across the attached article regarding drawing survivor benefits, and I am 62. I'm still working. Do I have to pay back 50 cents on the dollar? What happens is she happened to see an article, which many folks do. Stuff's out there about how you can claim survivor benefits on your deceased, in her case, her husband's Social Security benefit while waiting to put off hers. The answer is yeah, you can, but I would go into Social Security. She goes on to say, since I make $50,000, that would mean I would not receive any survivor benefits, or is there another rule on survivor benefits? I would go to, this is a great one, I would go into Social Security and talk with them, but the wait for an appointment is about 3 months. A friend of mine retiring in July called in April to make an appointment and received a date in June.
Yeah. There are a lot of people retiring. 250,000 people turn 65 every month. A lot of retirement.
I'm glad we have double doors for our office so we can get some of these folks in here, right? Mm-hmm. As we do.
Several conference rooms.
When you have a moment, would you please ask Aaron... I put that in, pardon me.
That was...
And let me know what you think.
Creative license there.
Thank you, and a good job on the radio.
Okay.
That was nice, Barb. Thank you very much. So let's get down to it, Social Security expert Aaron.
So the rules are different for survivor benefits in some ways, but they are the same in other ways. You are still subject to the take-back if you are before your full retirement age, your normal retirement age, and you are taking the survivor benefit.
Now, Aaron, am I correct in that you can't actually apply to accept or to receive those survivor benefits before the age of 60?
Right. You need to be 60 years old. You also cannot have remarried.
Gotcha.
Or you don't have access to the survivor benefit anymore.
Okay.
So
you'll have a new survivor benefit.
Exactly. Or spousal benefit, one of the two. So, and also that's another point, maybe we should bring that up as well, which is oftentimes people don't realize there is a difference between survivor benefits and spousal benefits. Spousal benefits, that's the one where you can take 50% of your living spouses or divorced spouses benefit, but the person has to be alive, that you're claiming the benefit from. Good. Then survivor benefit is that person's passed away, and you're going to claim their benefit.
So the issue here, if I'm correct, is that, and really Barb points this out, is that if you earn more than $15,000 a year, and again, earnings being wages, which she's still employed,
right?
That's when you get above $15,000. That's when this clawback begins, right?
Clawback. They're clawing your money back.
Sons of a guns, right?
I like that. So if we take Barb as an example, and we say, she mentioned she's, $50,000 a year is what she plans to earn. We take the $15,000 off of that because that's what she's eligible to earn or allowable to earn before the take-back or the newly coined clawback begins. Right. That's $35,000 that's going to be subject to the take-back. So if we think of it as a 2-for-1 reduction, for every $2 you earn over the $15,000, you pay back $1. Right. So also Barb's example is true, 50 cents per dollar idea. That's a $17,500 payback.
So she could, in her case, she she thought she was going to give the whole thing back.
Essentially, that's about $1,500 a month giving back. However, the way that Social Security defines the take back is they are going to take it all back first. There's not a you don't. There's no cost sharing involved in this. They don't give you part and then they take part. They take the full amount in which they believe that they will be receiving based on your income when you take Social Security. So
that's great. So she gets the slip in the mail that says zero.
Essentially, because what they do is extrapolate out. Okay, your paycheck, your paychecks in January equaled $10,000. They're going to assume you're making $120,000 for the year. They're going to take back everything that they are eligible to receive, Social Security is eligible to keep before they start paying your benefit out to you.
And, this isn't unusual.
No, it happens to quite a few people.
And we've had, I know in our practice, we've had at least 3 or 4 clients where it was like, well, you can elect it, but guess what? It's not going to get anything.
Exactly, and also the survivor benefit is subject to a discounted rate. You don't receive the full benefit of your deceased spouse when you turn 60. They discount it. There's a different schedule of discounts. You can find that actually at ssa.gov.
You don't have to wait in line.
You do not have to wait for that. It is the Social Security website. If you have general questions very similar to this one, is excellent in terms of.
They have an FAQ that's great.
And they
go through cases.
They actually They say Barb is 62 years old. Her spouse is deceased, and this is what she wants to do. And then they will explain not only how to do it, but what the repercussions are, which is excellent. Maybe not that great if you have a very specific question that hasn't been answered on the site. You might not find it. You may have to go down to Social Security to ask that question or consult with someone that has some experience with Social Security.
That's good. So, Barb, we hope that helped you.
Yes, we do.
And, what's neat in this situation, Barb had already done her homework a little bit.
Yes, she had and you know what the article was? It definitely was one of those ones that is there to grab you. 7 things you may not have known about Social Security.
There you go.
What a fun read.
Yeah, and, it's interesting here because it's sort of like your Part B premiums.
Yes.
If you're getting Social Security, the government doesn't bill you.
No, they do not.
They take the money.
That is right. They take it.
They take it on the front.
They do take it on the front end, and that is, for one of 2 reasons. One is because they want their money.
Right.
But 2 is because in many cases, especially as people age, things can fall through the cracks. Medicare does have a significantly longer grace period than any other insurance does. However, if you don't pay your Medicare premiums, eventually Medicare will lapse, and then you have to wait to get back into it.
Right.
So it is designed as a safety measure for people that are on Medicare.
So for the folks that maybe have turned Medicare eligible, 65, but are putting it off, and they're obviously doing something differently, do they have to pay more?
So the only situation in which they would pay more is, and this actually happened recently, is Social Security and Medicare have what's called a hold harmless agreement. If Social Security does not issue a cost of living adjustment, Medicare cannot increase the premium on Medicare, but that only applies to people that are taking both Social Security and Medicare at the time of the decision for a cost of living adjustment on Social Security. So if you happen to be, and this happened during the Obama administration, there was no cost of living adjustment issued for Social Security. So that means Medicare could not change their premium. So if you were an individual on both at that time, your premium stayed the same, so did your Social Security. But if you're an individual only taking Medicare because potentially you were working, and you don't want to take Social Security, you don't need to take it yet, you've put it off, and you're paying on a quarterly basis, that is when you saw from 104 as the average premium bump it up to 135. 134 is what happened. So people that were actually on Social Security didn't see that bump. People that were not on it did see that.
Yikes.
Exactly. However, there's also a misconception that your Medicare premium stays the same forever. Medicare, when they do issue cost of living adjustments, is able to raise the Medicare Part B premium, but it can't exceed the cost of living adjustment that Social Security issued. Basically, the government saying you can't it's not going to eat up the cost of living adjustment it issued to you through Medicare.
Yeah, and it's nice. And one of the things that we talk a lot about healthcare because you help folks make that transition.
We do. Not only do we help them make the transition to Medicare, we help them make transitions potentially to COBRA, spouses policies, but the other thing that we do is ensure that we work that money back into your game plan.
Yeah.
For example, I just met last week with 2 long-time clients. They were both employed when they started with us, and both have eventually retired now, as most do, that are working with us. They were on Cobra for that 18 months. They did, and we knew what that price was. It was $600 a month for both of them together,
which was really inexpensive.
Incredible. So we worked out their cash flow game plan, included the $600 a month for them because we knew that was an additional expense, even though not a great premium, but still an expense for them. But now that they are off of Cobra,